Welcome to Biography Central. You are listening to Life of Sri Ramakrishna, a complete biography. Chapter 50, Meeting with Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, the great Bengali novelist, met Sri Ramakrishna once only in the house of Author Chandra Sen in December 1884. Author had invited several of his brother officers, of whom Bankim was one, to meet the master. Author introduced Bankim thus: "Sir, he is a great scholar and has written many books. He has come to see you. His name is Bankim Babu." Sri Ramakrishna, smiling, "Ah, Bankim. Well, whose influence has bent you?" Bankim, smiling, "Ah, sir, the kick of British boots." Sri Ramakrishna, No, I don't mean that. Some say Sri Krishna was bent through love of Sri Radha. It made his body pliant and gave him his characteristic pose. Do you know why he looks so dark and small like a man? So long as God is at a distance, he looks dark, as the water of the ocean appears blue from a distance. But it is no longer so when you go near or take some of it in your hand. Then it is transparent. The sun appears very small because it is so far off. Close by it would be immense. God is neither dark nor small if one knows his real nature. But it is a thing far, far off. One cannot realize it except in samadhi. As long as there is the distinction of I and thou, name and form must remain. Is all his play. As long as we are obsessed with the idea of separateness, God reveals himself in forms. Sri Krishna is the Purusha, the male principle, and Radha is his Shakti, the primordial power. What is the significance of the united forms of Krishna and Radha? It means that Purusha and Prakriti are identical. There is no difference between them. Purusha cannot exist without Prakriti, nor can Prakriti exist without Purusha. One implies the other. Therefore, you find in the united forms of Krishna and Radha that their eyes are riveted on each other. Radha's complexion is bright like lightning, and Krishna's cloth is yellow. Sri Krishna's complexion is blue as a cloud. Radha's robe is blue, and she wears a sapphire. She has ringing anklets, and Krishna wears the same. That is to say, the union between Purusha and Prakriti is both internal and external. When Sri Ramakrishna finished, Bankim began to talk in English with Author and his friends. Sri Ramakrishna, smiling, "Well, what are you saying?" Adhar, "Sir, we were discussing what you said just now." Sri Ramakrishna, "I am put in mind of an amusing story. A barber was shaving a gentleman. His client said, 'Damn,' when the barber cut him. The barber didn't know the meaning of the word. He put his razor down, rolled up his sleeves. It was winter, and demanded in an angry tone what it meant. The gentleman said, 'Don't worry. Go on with your work. It doesn't mean anything. Only I want you to shave a bit more carefully.' But the barber wouldn't let him off so easily. He said, 'If the word means something good, I take it for myself, my father, and by whole ancestry. If it has a bad meaning, may it, with all its reduplications, go to you, your father, and your whole ancestry.' There was loud laughter over this. Then Bankim said to the master, 'Sir, why do you not preach?' Sri Ramakrishna, smiling, 'You talk of preaching. Preaching springs from egotism. Man is but a puny creature. Preaching is reserved for God, who has created the sun and moon and brought this universe into being. Is it easy to preach? One cannot do so unless God reveals himself and gives the commission. But you can have a travesty of this. You can preach without that commission. People will listen for a few days, but they will forget everything you have said. It will be an excitement like any other. They may say, 'Ah, how well he speaks.' But when you stop, you will find that no impression has been made. So long as there is fire under the pot of milk, the milk will hiss and swell. But as soon as you remove the fire, the milk sinks to its former level. First of all, one must develop one's powers by spiritual practice. Otherwise, it is like inviting a friend to share one's bed when it is hardly large enough for oneself. Everyone listen with attention. Sri Ramakrishna, to Bankim, you are a great scholar and have written many books. What do you think is the duty of man? What will he take with him after death? Of course, you believe in a future life. Bankim, Future life. What's that? Sri Ramakrishna. After realization, there's no more going to other planes, there's no more rebirth. But until one attains knowledge, realizes God, one must return again and again to this world. There is no escape. For such a one, there is the next world. Of course, when a man attains knowledge, realizes God, he is liberated and has no more to return. Boiled patty, if sown, does not sprout. A man who is boiled, that is, perfected on the fire of knowledge, no longer participates in the play of creation. It is impossible for him to be of this world, for he is not attached to lust and wealth. What is the good of sowing boiled patty? Bankim, smiling sir, there are also many worthless plants which do not yield any fruit. Sri Ramakrishna, but a jnani should not be compared to these. One who has realized God has acquired not fruits like the gourd or pumpkin, but the fruit of immortality. He is never born again. He has to go nowhere, neither to this world, nor to the solar sphere, nor to the lunar. All analogies are based on partial resemblance. You are a scholar, and you have studied logic. The expression, terrible as a tiger, does not mean that the object of comparison is an actual tiger. Laughter. I said the same thing to CH50. He asked me if there was a future life. I replied indirectly by saying, you have seen the potter drying his pots in the sun. Some are baked, others are unbaked. Sometimes cattle trample and break them. The baked ones are thrown away as useless, but the unbaked shards are collected, pounded with a little water, and put on the wheel again to make new pots. Then I added, so long as you are unbaked, the potter will not let you go. Until you have attained knowledge, realized God, he will put you on the wheel again. That is to say, you have to be born again and again, and there is no escape. When you realize God, you are free, and the potter throws you away, for you are no longer of any use in this creation of Maya. A jnani has transcended Maya. What is he to do with it? But he keeps some in this world of Maya to teach mankind. A jnani lives in the world, taking on the higher aspect of Maya in order to teach men. It is God who keeps him there to do his work. Sukadeva and Shankaracharya are cases in point. To Bankim, what is your idea about the duties of man? Bankim, smiling, I should say, eating, sleeping, and enjoying the flesh. Sri Ramakrishna, in disgust, Shah, you are very saucy. You only talk of what you do always. Eructations, that is, burps or belches, often smell of what one eats, radish or green coconut, for instance. You run constantly after lust and wealth, so only words about them come from your lips. Dwelling constantly on sense objects makes one calculating, insincere. But meditation on God makes one straightforward. What will mere scholarship avail without meditation, discrimination, and renunciation? A scholar who has studied much may be able to quote verses glibly or to write books, but if he is attached to lust and considers wealth and fame to be the essence of life, he is nothing. He is no scholar whose mind is not turned to God. Some think these people are constantly busy with God. They are mad. They have lost their heads. But how clever we are, how we enjoy wealth, fame, and sense pleasures. Well, the crow also thinks it is very clever, but from early morning it is looking for filth. Look how restless it is, moving constantly. There was dead silence. Sri Ramakrishna continued, those who meditate on God, who pray day and night to be relieved of the craving for lust and wealth, to whom sense pleasures taste bitter, and who can relish nothing but the bliss of the lotus feet of God, are of the nature of swans. If you place a mixture of milk and water before them, they will drink the milk only, the water they leave. You must also have noticed their gait. They walk straight ahead. So with real devotees, they march towards God alone. They want nothing else. They have no relish for anything else. To Bankim, please don't take offense at my words. Bankim, sir, I'm not for soft word alone. Sri Ramakrishna, lust and wealth constitute the world. They are Maya. They prevent us from seeing or thinking of God. After the birth of one or two children, one should live with one's wife, as with a sister, and talk of God alone. Then both will be drawn to God, and the wife will become a help in the path of spirituality. Without giving up the animal instinct, none can taste divine bliss. One should sincerely pray to God to be freed from it. Next is wealth. I used to sit on the bank of the Ganges below the punch of a tea and assert that money was earth and earth money. Then I threw both into the Ganges. Bankim, indeed, is money the same thing as earth? Even with 4 paisa, one can help a poor person. If money is no better than earth, do you mean to say that charity and philanthropy are nothing? Sri Ramakrishna, charity, philanthropy. Dare you say that you have the power to do good to others? Well, man is so given to boasting, but if, when he is asleep, one pours ditch water into his mouth, he does not know it. Where then would his boasting be? A sannyasin must give up lust and wealth forever. What has once been spat out is spat out for good. When a sannyasin gives to another, he knows that he himself is not doing it. To God alone belongs the right to practice charity, and no man can claim it. Charity and everything depends on his will. A true sannyasin renounces both mentally and physically. He who does not eat molasses must not keep it about. If he does and advises others not to eat it, he will not be listened to. A householder, of course, requires money, for he has wife and children. To maintain them, he must save. 2 classes of beings never provide for the future, the monk and the bird. And yet the bird, when it has young ones to feed, must stock up. A genuine devotee, though he be in the world, performs his duties without attachment. He surrenders to God the fruits of his work, gain or loss, weal or woe, everything. Day and night, he prays to God for devotion, and only that. This is called work without motive. A sannyasin also must work in the same spirit, but he has not as many duties as the householder. If a householder gives in charity with a spirit of non-attachment, he does it for his own good and not for the good of others. He thereby serves God who resides in all beings, and service unto God means helping one's own self. If one serves God manifested through all beings, not only through men, but through birds and beasts also, without caring for name and fame, or for a heaven after death, expecting no return. From those whom he serves, he really works without motive, and it benefits him alone. This is karma yoga, one of the ways to realize God. But it is very difficult. Hence, I say, one who does this kind of work unattached, who is kind and charitable, benefits only himself, his God who helps others. The love that you see in parents is his love. He has given it to them for the preservation of his creatures. The compassion which you notice in the generous is his compassion. He has put it there to save the helpless, whether you are charitable or not. He has his work done some way or other. His work never stops. So, the duty of man is to take refuge in him and pray to him eagerly for realization. One who has realized God craves nothing else. One who has tasted the syrup of candy cannot relish treacle. Those who want to build hospitals and dispensaries and are satisfied with that are also good people, but they are of a different grade. The real devotee seeks nothing but God. If he has too much work to do, he prays earnestly to God, "Lord, be gracious unto me and lessen my work. Otherwise, my mind, which should exclusively think of thee, becomes scattered. It thinks of sense objects." Genuine devotees form a class by themselves. Pure devotion is impossible without the conviction that God alone is real and all else unreal, that the world is transient, while its creator alone is real and eternal. Some people think that God cannot be realized without the help of books and scriptures, that one should first of all learn of this world and its inhabitants, that one should study science. They hold that one cannot realize God without understanding his creation. What is your opinion? Which comes first, science or God? Bankim, one should first of all know something about the world. How can one know of God without some such knowledge? One should first learn from books. Sri Ramakrishna, that's the one cry of all of you. God is first, and then his creation. After realizing him, you can know everything else if it be necessary. First realize God, then think of creation or other things. Valmiki was given the name of Rama to repeat as mantra but he was told to repeat it in the inverse way, as Mara. The first syllable means God, and the last the world. First God, and then the world. If you know one, you know all. If you put 50 zeros after one, it makes a large sum. Omit the one, and the zeros are nothing. It is the one that makes many. First one, then many. First comes God, then his creatures and the world. Your business is to realize God. Why do you worry so much about the world, creation, science, and all that? Suppose you desire to eat mangoes. What would you gain by gathering statistics about the mango grove? Bankim, where can I get the mangoes? Sri Ramakrishna, pray to God eagerly. If you're sincere, he will surely respond. Perhaps he will procure the advantage of holy company for you, or somebody may give you directions as to how to realize God. Bankim, you mean the guru? He keeps the best mangoes for himself and gives me only the bad ones. Laughter. Sri Ramakrishna, why do you think so? He knows what would suit a particular temperament. If the mother prepares a light diet for a child with a weak stomach, it does not mean that she loves him the less. One must have faith in the words of the guru. The guru is God, and God is the guru. It is by having a childlike faith in his words that one can realize God, not through cleverness or a calculating mind. One must have faith and sincerity and no hypocrisy. To the sincere he is very near, but he is far, far away from the hypocrite. We want the yearning of a child. Whatever path you follow, whether you be Hindu, Muslim, Christian, or any other, that is the one vital point. God knows the secrets of our hearts, and it matters little if a wrong path is taken. Only you must have sincerity. He himself will bring you to the right way. There are some defects in every path. Everyone thinks that his watch is correct, but as a matter of fact, not one shows the correct time. But that doesn't hamper one's work. Through yearning, one gains the association of sadhus, and one can correct one's watch by that standard. Trilokya Nath Sanyal, who was one of the guests, began to sing. Soon the master stood up and was lost in samadhi. All stood round him in a circle. Bankim came closer and watched him attentively. He had never seen anyone in samadhi before. After a few minutes, the master gained partial consciousness and began an ecstatic dance. The song over, he touched the ground with his head, saying, Bhagavatha, Bhakta, Bhagwan. Salutation to the nanis, yogis, bhaktas, and all. He sat down again, and all sat around him. Bankim, to Sri Ramakrishna, sir, how can one get devotion? Sri Ramakrishna, I have already told you, you must have that yearning. If one weeps for him with the intense yearning of a child for its mother, one can realize him. What will you gain by swimming on the surface? You must dive deep. The gems lie deep underwater. So what's the good of keeping on the surface? A real gem has weight. It doesn't float. It goes to the bottom. If you want to collect the right gem, you must dive deep. Bankim, sir, what can we do? We are tied to a cork which prevents us from diving. Sri Ramakrishna, well, all sins vanish if one remembers him. His name breaks the fetters of death. You must dive deep, or you won't get the gem. Then he sang his favorite song, dive deep, my mind, to which everybody listened spellbound. Bankim bowed down before the master, intending to take his leave. Bankim, sir, I am not really such a fool as you take me for. I have a request to make. Will you kindly grace my hut with your presence? Sri Ramakrishna, all right, if the Lord wills. Bankim, there too you will find devotees. Sri Ramakrishna, smiling, well, what sort of devotees are they? Then he told an amusing story about some swindling goldsmiths posing as devotees, which was much appreciated. Sri Ramakrishna did not forget Bankim, though they never met again, and he listened to portions of one of his famous novels, Devi Chaudamani, and made apposite comments thereon. Later on, the master also sent Narendra and one or two of his other brilliant disciples to meet and have a talk with Bankim. I hope you like this chapter. We need volunteers and sponsors to create content with even better quality and with more variety. If you wish to join this initiative as a volunteer or sponsor, please click the links given in description below. To help us reach more viewers, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Biography Central. Thank you for your time. It means a lot. Namaste.